Hello, and welcome to the first live stream of 2025. We've made it to a whole new year. Somehow we made it through the
We're back.
holidays and everything like that. And we're back. Yes, we are back. And as everyone can see, we're back with. Wait, there he is. We're back
Wherever I'm
over
at
with.
on the screen.
we're back with Jeff. Jeff has made a full recovery, or at least a full enough recovery
Ish.
that he's able to jump on stream with us, and of course we can play more games. Or
We're
else you'd
back
see
in
a
our
lot more.
entirety, and we're working as well.
Oh, great! That's always a good start too. We don't sound like weird, strange alien robots.
Not yet.
Ironically enough, that might be good for Mothership in some capacity, I guess.
Sound levels seem fine and everything so far. So
Okay.
Nice.
Well, perfect. Well, then we hope that people that may watch this after the fact, we hope you enjoy what's coming. Tonight, we've actually chosen to kick off our 2025 with Mothership First Edition. For those of you that don't know Mothership, Mothership is a game that is it's kind of simple. I picked up the physical copies because I think it makes more of a statement than the digital copies do and everything like that. But as you can tell, it's a very thin book for the game and everything like that. So when you think about Mothership and everything, I have to say it kind of is in that OSR vein, sci-fi horror, very much a game that should be approachable by a lot of people as long as they're into sci-fi horror. I have to say that based on my read through of the game, what's that?
no, I was gonna say specifically like space truckers, like sci-fi horror. Like
You can do that, and I mean it's got like a lot of feels to it. But I have to say, and I'm going to shout out this book right here. I kind of browsed through it when we touched Mothership earlier, but I just took a really deep read into it just to kind of like fully absorb all the stuff in the Warden's Operation Manual to like kind of get it. Now, whether or not it actually comes out and play, the whole, Mike Tyson, once you get punched in the face, you revert back to your old habits kind of thing. But it's got some great advice for running games in it. And it's concise. Again, super small, not like a huge book or anything like that. So we're also here to play this to see if I enjoy the game playing it as a warden or or not. We will find out. As we've seen in the previous time that we talked about Mothership, I was maybe the less optimistic about it. But what about you guys? What are your thoughts? Mothership 1E. What are we doing?
I like Mothership well enough. It's like you said, it's a horror game, so the characters are not super confident. So if you're rolling dice, you're kind of failing at the game. So that's kind of the philosophy that I take in it, because you're not gonna succeed as often as you'd probably like, unless your character's really good at it.
That's
And even if your character's really good at it and you're me, probably not then either.
No, I agree with Brent. The scenarios that we've played in Mothership seem to go really well until we start trying to kill xenomorphs, and then things go really poorly. I don't know if it's just trying to hit it in the head with a wrench that doesn't work well.
Well, I mean, even Cloud Empress, which is a variation on the Mothership rules, like there's a lot of failure in that game too, because your characters aren't exceptionally, like I said, they're not super,
Right.
they're not hyper competent. I mean, they are hyper competent in the things that they're good at, but they're not hyper competent in anything that they're not good at. And if you have to roll for it, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting case to, when you're playing a game that you have a situation which your characters just succeed at a lot of the stuff they attempt to do. But then when the stakes come out and there's actually an interesting component to failure, then you roll that dice. The interesting part about Mothership is it doesn't encourage you to necessarily fail entirely. Like with the D&D binary, oh, you failed. Like, oh, I just didn't pick that lock. Mothership tends to encourage more like, you spend more resources or you fail and you have a setback. So like, but it's like you succeed with a setback kind of thing, and encourages alternate pathways with that. So even if you're not really getting your dice to give you whopping successes every so often, it still hopefully feels less bad and all that kind of stuff. So today we thought we'd also try something new just to kind of keep this more contained. Since 2025, hell, why not try new things? We thought we'd try Roll20. I see that they have a new thing called Jump Gate, and that's to be Roll20's new, I don't know, whatever. You insert technical jargon here. New tabletop engine, whatever, just optimized for better performance, less lag, all that kind of stuff. And hopefully it works. I have noticed that when we used Roll20 a lot in the past, I know between our different computers and everything like that, we tended to have a lot of laggy, jittery games. Is that the best way to put it? I just remember James.
Well, some
flying
people
across-
just some
yeah.
people just couldn't use it. But yeah, there was problems with it once in a while. I think dynamic lighting was mostly the problem.
Fair enough. And we're not going to use it for anything super serious today. We're just using it for like basic map and dice rolls on stream. So that should be good. So I guess without further ado, I think we're going to start with just character creation, just to show you everybody how like quick characters can be generated in this game. I mean, I think that's a fair first step. What do you guys think?
Normally that's the first step when you play a game, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, fire away, I guess. Let's go.
Okay.
There might be games where you don't have to make a character up front, but
this is not one of them.
This is not one of them.
I'm going to see if I can't do side by side here and get the right side by side. Because right now, oops, that's not the right side by side. I just lost Jeff. Okay, so that's going to be our Roll20 desktop, and let's see. That's photo viewer.
And while Mike is doing that, I'll just remind everybody: like, subscribe, share around. Our goal is to hit 1,000 subs this year. We managed to hit 500 last year, and we've gotten some over the last couple weeks. So please share us around, like the show if you like the show. All the algorithmic things.
Yeah, and all that stuff. And as he said, we appreciate everybody for the subscriptions. 500 is a big milestone for us. That was really awesome. We really appreciate it. That's super cool. And we also appreciate all the people we've met along the way, because it's been a lot of fun. So, are you guys ready to learn Mothership character sheets? Learn.
Make
kind of already
characters,
know
yes,
that, I guess.
yes.
Yeah, let's learn away.
Let's make characters.
Okay. So, in case anybody is wondering, I think it's probably fair to mention that there is a Mothership companion app. The Mothership companion app is on Android and iOS. There isn't a PC version that I'm aware of or was able to find. But the Mothership companion app, it does have some paid features in it that allow you to do certain extras above and beyond just kind of character creation. They're developing their own VTT, which has a map making tool and everything like that. And the maps that I've seen come out of it look pretty cool. They also have a ship thing and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys are interested in it, you can download it, pay for it, do whatever you'd like with it. I didn't feel like I wanted to use it for this, so sorry, our characters are going to be old-fashioned pen and paper, because the character sheets on Roll20 were, I don't know, janky, broken.
Would you still like us to roll for stats in the Roll20 character sheet?
Sure, if you guys want to. Well, I think I can switch back and forth pretty easy now. Let me see if this works.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. I just thought people would be able to see them on the screen if we did it that way.
I think so. I mean, I just I can do this and it does this stuff, right? Like you can see the two.
I can see the map,
things.
and then when you switch, I can see the character sheet.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then it's a win for technology, I guess. So
It's somewhat of a win for technology.
I feel, I don't know, I feel like I've graduated into something, being able to switch on the same screen. That okay, so that's the Words Operation Manual. Let's get the.
Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and press the roll button here. So
Okay, so to explain first, I'm just going to explain the layout of the character sheet. The nice thing I like about these character sheets is it kind of just walks you through the 9 steps that it takes to create the character, which is really awesome. So the characters, you start by rolling 2d10 plus 25 for each stat. My understanding that, or at least what they have explained in the rule book, is that the average stats for the characters are going to be 36. So, okay. So Brent, you have a. Oh, that's really kind of it. Did you both just roll your stats?
Is that a new one for? I think that's an old one for Jeff.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
So let's
if I
see.
mean, he could use it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I cleared it. I don't know. It's nowhere. It's nowhere now.
Well, you also
So,
cleared mine then. I rolled a 35, a 30, a 27, and a 40.
oh, that was what you'd rolled. Okay, so never mind.
Yes.
Yep, I saw it. Okay, Jeff, you want to
And
roll yours?
on screen, you'll see that the last stat is dexterity. That's not the actual stat. The version of the Mothership we're playing, the last stat is combat.
Yes, correct.
So just a quick correction.
Did it
Yep.
roll, Mike?
It may have rolled and I may have deleted it because you want to try it again because I didn't realize
I
that was
just did it again.
There it is. Okay, so you have a 28, a 31, a 34, and a 34.
I thought you said the average was going to be 36.
Well, a stat of
Well,
36 is average, but don't get too hung up on the numbers right now, is what they say.
I'm entering him into the character sheet.
Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to roll saves. The saves are going to be two 10-sided dice. So 2d10 plus 10 for each save, and the saves are sanity, fear, and body. And so just so people kind of have an understanding of what the different stats and stuff are, strength is holding airlocks closed, speed is getting out of the cargo bay and blast doors and all that stuff when they close. Intellect is recalling training and experienced under duress, and combat is fighting for your life. Whereas saves, your sanity is going to be your ability to rationalize logical inconsistencies in the universe. Fear is maintaining a level head while struggling with fear, loneliness, depression, and other emotional surges. And body is employing quick reflexes to resist hunger, disease, or organisms that might try to invade your insides.
So we got to roll 2d10
three times. Yeah.
Yep, 2d10 plus 10
Plus
three
10.
times.
So I got a 25 for sanity.
Me too. We rolled the same thing.
Yeah, that was weird. I got a 16. I got a 26 on fear.
Great.
And my third time for 2d10s. Oh, good, a 14. I got a 25, a 26, and a 24.
I got a 25, a
bad.
23, and a 22.
Not bad. Okay, so now in Mothership, you're going to choose your class. Now, in this one, there are 4 classes that are part of the base game. I'm sure people have in the community have done extra classes and stuff like that. But there are Marines, androids, scientists, and Teamsters. Other than the Teamsters, which kind of are the blue-collar space workers, mechanics, engineers, miners, and pilots, the other ones seem pretty self-explanatory. But by choosing a specific class, you do get additional bonuses that are listed below the class selection.
What did you want to play, Jeff?
I was just looking. Did I do a Teamster last time?
I believe so.
I believe I was the scientist, you were the Teamster, Jeff, and Brent was the android.
That's correct.
Oh, that's right. Brent was the android. I don't know if I want to be a Marine. I think I'm going to be a scientist.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and be the Marine.
Okay. All right. Then once you're done with that, you're going to roll one.
We have to manually update the stats, Mike.
Yeah, you would need to manually update them on the PDF, I guess. So, as a Marine, you can see that you get plus 10 combat, plus 10 body save, plus 20 fear save, and plus 1 max wounds. Whereas the team, what were you again, Brent? Were you the scientist? No,
I'm the Marine. Yeah.
I'm the scientist.
Jeff was the scientist. Scientist gets plus 10 intellect and plus 5 to one stat, and then plus 30 on sanity.
And then the way wounds work is you cycle through all of your health. We'll roll for health in a minute, but you cycle through all of your health, and that removes a wound once you cycle through. So both androids and Marines are slightly tougher than the other classes.
Correct. And losing a wound is a bad thing in general, because basically what happens is that there are things that happen to your body when you get wounded, and so that's not a good thing. There's a nice table that you can roll for the level of wound that it is and all kinds of stuff. It's really fun.
I'll go ahead and roll for my health here.
Yep. Yeah, so, and your
11.
maximum wound starts at...
I'm winning already at this game.
Good luck, Brent. But you still have 3 wounds, right? So
Yes.
you're just going to cycle through them a little quicker.
There's definitely diminishing returns on those wounds, though, once you get a head wound or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The head wounds are serious, aren't they? All right. So 1d10 plus 10 for my health.
Correct.
I'm the world's hardiest scientist.
Irony. Okay.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it works. Okay. And then after you guys go through wounds, you get something called stress. Characters' current stress and minimum stress both start at 2. The stress mechanic is basically the same thing that you experience in a lot of these types of horror games, is that it's a measure of the toll that all of these, experiences have on your character. And so a lot of the times your stress mechanic is going to be bringing you to a panic response. And panic is when you really have the bad stuff happen. Things can, well, it's not always bad. Your panic response can be like a shot of adrenaline, or it can be just your character breaks down mentally and they're no longer able to play because they're just a gibbering loss of sanity kind of thing. Kind of the same thing with Call of Cthulhu when you go insane, all that kind of stuff.
It's true.
Okay, next we have trauma response. So each different class experiences a different trauma response. And you'll note that your trauma response as a Marine is whenever you panic, every close friendly player must make a fear save.
Yeah, if I panic, everybody else around me panics.
Because obviously the Marine is supposed to be the gritty, like, I'm not going to run from anything. And then, of course, the Marine runs. They're like, well, now what? So, and then, of course, the scientist, whenever you fail a sanity save, all close friendly players gain 1 stress. Okay. This is probably the longest part here, is when we start getting into like the skills and all that. But choose your skills. Each class comes preloaded with relevant skills. You'll see at the top, you'll have your skill loadout that you can select, and then basically, you get a certain number of skill selections that you can make. So, for example, a Marine can make 1 expert skill selection or 2 trained skill selections.
And they get military training and athletics free.
Correct. Scientists get 1 master skill, and then, of course, an expert skill and a trained skill prerequisite. And then, of course, you get bonus 1 trained skill. So scientists can be good in a pinch because they can have that plus 20% bonus to a roll if it happens to be in there. wheelhouse. Okay. All right. Since I can't really see you guys select your skills and everything like that, I am curious. When you.
I mean, mine was easy. Military training and firearms. I'm a Marine, so mine was easy.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I thought about going hand-to-hand combat, but that seems like a bad idea in general.
That's funny. Where's hand-to-hand? Oh, it's under athletics. Gotcha.
No, it's under military training and rimwise, but the military training links to hand-to-hand combat.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. And as everyone can see, there's a lot of links between the skills. So, like for example, botany can take you down to wilderness survival, etc., etc. Jeff, are you good on yours?
Yeah, I think so. I'm absolutely worthless. So
Okay.
No,
What did you
you're
choose as
good
your
at
master
specific
skill?
things.
my master skill is sophontology.
Okay. Do you know what sophontology is?
Not at all.
It links from psychology, so
So, sophontology is the study of behavior and mind of inhuman entities.
oh
So
cool.
I study alien minds, and
You know-
then I have psychology, linguistics, and zoology.
you know about alien behavior.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Select good selections in the entire thing. And
You know about them, and I know about shooting them.
One thing that I thought was interesting when I was looking through the Warden's Guide is that they do suggest that you take note as a Warden of the different skills that your players select and use that as kind of a wish list of the type of experiences that they want to see in the game and everything, which I thought was kind of a neat way to frame that in your brain as the Warden. Okay. So, next, we're almost actually done with this. We have a few of the personal flourishes and everything like that. The first is going to be your loadout. Now, each loadout is going to be a roll of a d10 based on a class-specific loadout table. And so, Brent, do you want to go first?
Sure. Do you want me to roll all of them or one at a time?
Don't you just get one roll on the loadout? Isn't that what you're...
Well, I mean, do you want to do all of
loadout,
the
trinket, and a patch.
Do you want to be loadout,
Oh, sure.
trinket,
Why don't we
patch,
do
or just-
loadout, trinket, patch? Good point. Good
Okay,
point.
so there's loadout, there's trinket, there's patch. So 6 on loadout.
6 on loadout is you get fatigues, which give you 2 armor points. You have a combat shotgun with 2 rounds. You have a pet dog,
Aw.
a leash, and a tennis ball. Okay. And your trinkets are actually D100. I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh, you failed me.
Trinkets
Yeah,
and patches are D100.
There we go. I got a 5 and a 34.
So your trinket is a necklace of shell casings. Fair enough.
Sure, let's go.
And your patch is a I like my tools clean and my lovers dirty. That's up to you as to how you want to interpret that. And just so everybody knows, trinkets are something that you can use to kind of help you with your shore leave and everything like that. Patches are some sort of, something that's basically sewn into your clothing or a part of the overall image that you present.
They're a quick indication of your character's personality.
Yep, quick indication of your character's personality in this case. All right, so Jeff, scientist loadout. Do you want to go ahead and...
I got a 6.
You have scrubs with an
Sure.
armor point of 1, scalpel. You have an auto med ×5 and an oxygen tank with a filter mask.
Automed ×5.
Mm-hmm.
And an oxygen tank with a filter mask.
Correct.
Okay.
And then patches and trinkets first.
Trinkets are 100, right?
Yep.
34.
34. A pendant, which is shell fragments suspended in plastic.
So shell like a seashell?
I assume a seashell in this case, but what do you think? What kind of shell do you
I
think
think
it
it
would
would be more of a seashell kind of thing. Probably a nautilus, something showing the golden spiral thing, right?
The golden ratio or whatever it is?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. D100 patches.
Nautilus shell?
A nautilus shell. There we go. And then I'm a little afraid always to roll my patch because they're 26.
So your patch is, hello, my name is.
Hello, my name is blank.
Yeah,
Because that's funny.
fair enough.
Because
And then that's a character.
Montoya was taken.
Probably. It's not. In
I
the
like to think
database.
you just write in a new one every so often.
You just have like a roll of those name patches. You know the
Yeah, you just, it's
sticky ones
no,
you
it's
just
got
kinda
Velcro. It's got Velcro on it, and you just got it's like a roll of like Velcro ones that he just puts on.
just for whatever situation.
Fun for all occasions.
Okay. Now, of course, you do need to put your name, your pronouns, and everything like that. And there is something called high score in this game. High score was what was high score again? That was the
It's how many
like,
missions you survive.
how many missions you made. Yeah.
So I'm at 0. Let's go.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. And obviously, high score is just kind of one of those like. It's you don't expect to get like 999 or whatever in this.
So,
That
so
would
are you
be
going to be Apone, Brent?
No, my name is Harold Brass.
Harold Brass.
Yep, my dog's name is Bart.
Bart. Okay. So I guess that being said, we are going to be playing a module called Alone in the Deep, a scenario, I guess. I don't know if they're scenarios or modules. I think they're called scenarios. But basically, shout out to S. Murphy Games because this is a pay what you want scenario and everything like that. So if you want to just download it and play it with your friends, you definitely can. However, always suggest supporting authors whenever you can with whatever you can in those kind of situations. So shall we begin with asking the number one question as to why you guys are on the, or I guess I should say, are you both guys?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So I should probably so we asked the number one burning question: why are you on the Rimmer 89? So I'd like you to roll a d4. So one of you will roll the d4. So whoever wants to roll that, that's going to be the person doing it.
Go ahead, Jeff.
A D4?
Yes, punish us with your D4.
All right. 1.
Perfect.
Strong 1.
Strong start.
Okay.
Perfect choice.
So why are the characters here? So you both, you're basically both part of the. Well, I guess if you want, you can have separate ones if you wanted to. But one is you're flat broke, and you had to pick up the job for a chance to leave this watery hellhole that you're stuck on. How did you end up flat broke? And Brent, do you want to share his fate as to why he is here?
Uh, well, let me. What would Harold have spent all his money on with a patch like? I like my tools clean and my lovers dirty. Um, let's say gambling debts.
Okay. So Harold has some maybe organized criminal entity that he has to owe money to, or what is your gambling debt for?
Yeah,
How did you get it?
it's loans for paying off. I got loans for assorted gambling ventures. Whatever
Okay.
passes for horse races on this planet.
Seahorse races, maybe, or the equivalent thereof.
Dolphin races or something. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Exploitative, dangerous, very easy to lose money at, apparently.
Well, let's just say Harold's probably not a very lucky guy.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Jeff, how did you end up flat broke and on the Remor 89?
I spent the family fortune studying alien ruins, uh, looking for the key to connect humans to alien DNA.
Okay. And have you found it, or are you still in pursuit of it? And are you still idealistic about it?
Oh, I still believe that there's a connection.
Okay. And did you find that connection or no?
I believe that I have found the beginnings of the connection, but DNA is relatively complex to study, so I
And
need
then
more samples.
that money just ran
Nobody
dry.
believes it. Yes, the money ran dry.
So did you happen to find
That's what I keep saying
connections?
too.
Did you happen to find some of these connections on this planet before the money ran dry? So that's why you're stuck here, or how did that work?
No, I think I probably was in a more prestigious place,
Hmm.
and I just keep finding gigs, right, to take me further and further out into space.
Okay.
Um, you know, one-time things, hop a ship from here to here, and then the next time a transport comes,
Hmm.
catch on there. Everybody's always looking for a scientist, right?
Okay. Yep.
A
And so
xenobiologist? Yes, sure.
actually, so the good news is that both of you will fit in pretty well on the Rimor 89. So the Rimor 89 has a kind of a small crew. The vessel itself does deep sea research and mining. And basically, they do deep sea research and they do mining surveying effectively. This is a fairly large planet. Kind of unfortunately, it's water, 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 water. So you guys are in what makes for a one of the deep sea exploration vessels, a nice submarine. Since most of the stuff is done, outside via robotics and everything like that, there's a small crew. There are 4 people in this. There is obviously the captain, who's kind of a grizzled old man, a veteran of many excursions into the deep. Kind of doesn't. He's kind of short, curt, speaks to the point, and is missing an eye. Uh, doesn't really talk about why that eye is missing, though. You do
And
have Alder.
and we only know him as the captain.
Correct. That's all it is. His patch says, "Hello, my name is the captain."
I gave him that one.
you, you can almost the closest that he's ever given anybody to a bemused look is really as far as you got there. Next is Alder Kapotsky. This is the head scientist. Alder is basically there studying the sea flora and fauna in this water planet. He's quite what is that? He's quite protective of his research. So as a fellow scientist, even though you're supposed to work with him, he's very you know how you have that lab assistant that can never do right? He treats you as that lab assistant
Okay.
regardless of your actual skill and capability. Very much egotistical, thinks he's pretty much the best thing ever. Um, he doesn't know why his genius is stuck below the waves, kind of thing.
I got a few ideas.
And then you have old Bjorn. This is the head chef. he is pretty much he's going to be your mess cook and everything like that. He takes care of filling your bellies. Um,
Bjorn also
he
has the most intimidating picture.
Yeah, he's a little he's a little intimidating, but I felt like he needed kind of an Iron Chef kind of look. Um, that's the closest I could get to Iron Chef. And then so just so you guys are aware that
With
the
his
captain is the
with
far
his murder
right.
cleaver.
There's old Bjorn the cook. Um, then of course Alder Kapotsky is the guy on the far left, and Ivan Mahone is the head engineer. Ivan Mahone is probably the laziest person ever to ride with you on any of your missions. If for whatever reason he finishes his work early, he will literally take the time and go bunk up and just go sleep. In fact, it's actually impressive how much he sleeps in his bunk, and he's sleeping, because as you guys go into the sleeping quarters and stuff like that, he's literally just there, eyes closed, snoring away. And so maybe he sleeps 18 hours a day if he could, but it's kind of crazy. So now that you guys are there, tell me a little bit about your
I don't
day to
feel I
day.
don't I don't feel like Harold sees that as very crazy. Harold probably sleeps quite a bit too.
Sorry. Okay. So tell me a little bit about your day to day. You guys are part of this sub. Obviously there's a lot to do considering there's fewer people on the sub than your standard, larger vessels and everything like that. So you kind of have to share responsibilities in terms of maintenance. Obviously, Jeff, you're using your slurp guns and your bio boxes to collect data samples and specimens and everything like that for Dr. Kapotsky. And so tell me a little bit about your day to day. Like, how does your day go? Who wants to start?
Since I'm assisting Dr. Kapotsky, I'm doing whatever he says during the day. And then probably after, I do whatever chores after eating, that we all have to split and share. I'm probably back in the lab running my own things, using the computers
Hmm.
when nobody else is using them. I
Okay.
probably spend a lot of time in the lab and I'm only getting, 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep a night.
Okay. That's fair. So when you're working in the lab and everything like that, it's been cordoned off, so that he has kind of higher profile specimens that he kind of like authorizes you to look at versus not. So like
Sure.
handling the specimens, I should say. Obviously, any specimens that he perceives as to be high value specimens and everything, they go behind a lock and key and everything. Um, and only he has the access code for them and everything like that. But for your own space and your own research, do you try to advance your own research kind of on the company dime?
Yes, as long as, I'm not doing anything fully illegal or anything, I'm trying to use the computers to compare DNA and uh, write my research and further
Okay.
my ability to find the connection between humans and aliens.
All right. That sounds good. And Brent, as for your day to day, as what amounts to a security detail on a sub underwater, what does your day to day look like?
Well, until something happens, not much. I check the armory a lot, make sure everything like I keep a close list or list isn't the term that I'm looking for. Inventory of the armory. Make sure all the guns are clean and working. I help out with minor mechanical stuff, not much because I'm not very good at it.
Okay.
And then oftentimes I'll be throwing my tennis ball from the sleeping quarters into the galley so the dog can playing with my dog. Pretty much, but that's mostly what I do when I have free time. But other than that, there's like a. Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing here as I'm inventorying the rifles in the armory. I'm also wondering why this research submarine has a full armory occasionally, which seems a little weird. Um, because it doesn't seem like a submarine would be hit by pirates very often or anything like that. But I'm welcome to be on the job. But like I said, that's really the main things that I do: inventory, minor mechanical stuff, which takes supervision. So people a lot of times ask me not to do things because I need help,
Sure.
because I'm not very good at it. And then like playing with the dog.
So turn that question
Since I
around,
brought my dog on a submarine.
and they allowed it. They said, "Sure, why not?"
I don't know how you talked him into that. That's impressive.
So the first thing let's do is let's kind of interrogate the setting a little bit and give you some ideas as to why you're there. The armory and everything like that. First of all, there are 2 torpedo tubes. Why do you think a submarine that does deep sea excursions on a water planet might have torpedo tubes and a security officer?
Yeah, it's possible that there are large enough hostile creatures in the water, or maybe there are people that are trying to horn in
I
on
mean,
the same research that's being done.
I would assume there's pirates of some sort, like when the submarine surfaces occasionally. I'm probably there to help with that, but like other than that, I don't. Why would there be like
I
there
don't know.
there might be creatures, or there might be like torpedoes might be used for samples, like blowing rocks up and stuff like that for samples, stuff of that nature. But yeah, those are the
Well,
things I could think of.
so you are correct. I mean,
And how big is the armory? Like how many guns are in the armory?
not
It's
a ton.
you said it's not to scale, right? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
just to kind of give you general locations and everything like that.
Because
However,
the armory is as big as the engine room if it was to scale, which would mean there's a lot of guns in there, which would be worrisome potentially.
Well,
know,
if there's a lot of torpedoes,
as for it's more, it more is to scale for the size of the things that go in the torpedo tubes. This includes
I was just
robots.
wondering. I was just wondering why there was a matrix room of guns in the submarine.
So, so there's a few things. So as for like anti-personnel type deals, you're aware that there are 2 handguns, about 40 rounds, and 3 grenades that are available in the armory locker. So in case of forced boarding, let's say, you at least have something.
And
in
my
your
shotgun in the bunk
yeah, that you
oh,
hid under the
yes, of
dog.
course.
that I snuck onto the submarine. But I only have 2 shells for it, so
So the captain, though, being that it's his ship, he typically has the key to the armor locker. So in order for you to get that, you'd have to actually get to him, which because it's so close to navigation, it's not that far of a.
I have a shotgun. I can get the key.
That's fair. That's fair. The other thing is it is various demolitions and everything like that. The torpedo tubes are a way for you to deliver
Oh,
demolitions.
okay. So that makes more sense. I know about explosives. My military training, I do know a little bit about explosives. So not much because that's in a different skill area. Never mind. I don't know anything about explosives.
You know how to fire things out of guns. So
Yeah, I know how to
Sorry.
shoot things.
And there are rumors of leviathans, and one of the things that was probably one of your highlights of this trip so far is that in the navigation room there's actually a full panel like view window that you can actually look out into the deep sea, which 99% of the time it's just pitch black. You kind of see the subtle debris, kind of moving away, and of course you need to have the lights and everything like that to see anything. But when you guys turn on the floodlights and everything like that, sometimes you're able to see some fairly interesting stuff underwater, and you have seen at least the skeleton of one leviathan, kind of as it had fallen down to the very bottom of the sea, kind of resting on a rocky outcropping. Quite impressive, not going to lie. And obviously, the doctor requested a specimen, which hopefully, Jeff, you were more than happy to provide. So
Yes.
all right. So this is so basically your days are pretty normal. You're on a 4-week rotation. It has been a week into this, and other than the Leviathan seeing that underwater, it has been a fairly boring expedition so far. I mean, as it is, Brent, your dog is getting plenty of exercise, running back and forth between the galley and the sleeping quarters. Uh, Much to the, at some point, old Bjorn is going to be like, just stop it. Just for a minute, just stop it. And of course, the dog is eventually going to get tired. And Jeff, let's focus in on you and the lab. So you're actually helping Dr. Kapotsky with some samples, and you see on his samples, kind of on his table and everything like that, some of the things he's cataloging. How do you like? He's asking you to kind of double check his work and make sure that to kind of make sure that the labels are on correctly for each of the samples and everything. How how closely do you look at them? And if they are alive, how do you handle live samples?
Well, I would be looking very closely because I'm trying to get a good recommendation for when I finally get off of this planet. So I'm trying to do everything up to his standards.
Okay.
Uh, with the live samples, I mean, I would imagine I would have to use. I'm assuming whatever they're encased in is closed, but if I actually
Hmm.
had to handle the samples like physically, I would have gloves on, I would
Okay.
imagine,
Hmm.
and potentially tools, to like if I had to transfer them from one thing to another, and large tweezers. I just don't know what kind of samples we're looking at. But I would try to preserve the samples as best I could and not allow oxygen or water or whatever to damage them.
Okay. So keeping them in suspension and everything like that. That's good.
Yeah,
So so as you guys do this, you collect some very interesting things. Things that would be very alien versions of similar types of deep sea creatures that we have here. Nothing is really standing out other than, I mean, some of the stuff that he brings in alive are definitely smaller samples. Most of them tend to be, able to be held in a jar that's no bigger than this,
okay.
for those types of transport and everything like that. Um, Although it is one of those days where Dr. Kapotsky has actually asked you to vacate the lab for a little while, and he says that he needs kind of privacy on this next thing because you don't have the clearance in order to participate in the assessment.
And I'll tell him okay, but I'm saying, are you sure if it's something dangerous, you might need two people to handle the specimen. I'm available if you need me.
That response gets him to look down at his nose at you, as if he would need anybody else.
All right then.
You want to borrow my
Haldane,
shotgun?
Haldane out. I will. I guess I will go get some coffee in the galley.
Okay. Getting some coffee in the galley. You see that, and basically as you leave, like he says, he'll let you know when he's done with his assessment and when it's time for you to and when you can come back to the lab. Kind of giving you like an un, a non duration in terms of like what he's trying to do.
Sure. I shut the door, and I'm sure in my head I'm,
Two
kind of.
finger guns behind the door. Okay.
No,
Um,
yeah. I mean, he's an okay scientist for what he does, but he doesn't have enough schooling to act as snobby as he does.
Okay. So when you don't have any downtime, or when you're not actively helping Dr. Kapowski, one of the things that's kind of like your sub jobs is to kind of assist the captain in navigation, and that's kind of everyone's one of your duty, on your duty
Sure.
roster. Somewhere down the list is basically
Well,
assisting the
then I'm
captain in
definitely getting
navigation.
two coffees, one for me and one for the captain,
Okay,
assuming
fair
that
enough.
he's just drinking coffee the whole time,
All right.
or
Um,
whatever his favorite non-alcoholic beverage is when he's on
okay.
duty.
It's coffee. He drinks a lot of
Yeah,
coffee.
I
As
figured on the sub it's coffee or seawater that's been treated in some way. I don't know how the
Is
freshwater stores are.
is there booze on the boat?
is there booze on the boat? I don't know. Was there?
Well, if there is, I know what
You
I know
found
what
it.
I know what Harold's doing with his free time.
Well, there's only so much, let's say, and you have to negotiate with old Bjorn to get access to it because it is a small stock, um, and he has the ability to kind of dish out a cup here and there, but he basically isn't going to let you just get absolutely trashed. Is the
We'll just save it up.
he's just like, I'll have another cup. You
No,
just put it in like a flask.
yeah, yeah.
Fair enough.
I save it for key
Fair.
moments.
Okay. Um, and so, it's one of those things where the rest of your shift is going by painfully slow. Brent, it's your turn to also assist in navigation. Um, who's
With my
which?
27 intelligence, this should go good.
Hey man, you're making sure that all the screws are bolted down is
I think
somebody's
it's that
job.
way.
So can you guys tell me, like, when you guys are in the navigation room, what jobs do you prefer to assist with?
I gotta imagine we're kind of jack of all trades because there's only so many of us on the crew, and the captain's probably doing most of the heavy lifting.
Hmm.
So
What requires the minimum amount of thinking?
I feel
watch
like the
this
captain.
light and tell me if it changes.
That I can do. That is what my character does. Is
If that light's ever not green, you gotta tell
exactly.
me.
Or if there's like radar or sonar with blips on the screen, like that sort of thing, I can watch that.
Okay.
I occasionally say, "Which way are we facing again?"
So,
It might be a joke. It might not be a joke. It's hard to say.
so it's interesting because basically as you're
Oh,
as you're looking at your underwater topography and everything like that, it does look as though you're going towards what would be an underwater range, and so obviously the computer recommends ascent to a certain elevation, and so the captain, who's in control of the steering wheel, because obviously you guys
Aren't allowed.
aren't allowed, um, says actually says he's having a little bit of trouble getting the sub to rise to the appropriate elevation. He reaches over, taps the intercom, and kind of loudly, but in as few words as possible, asks for Mahone to check what's wrong with what's wrong, if there's something in that is causing the sub not to rise. And after a few moments, no response. He kind of calls back down again, yelling this time, Mahone, is there? We're having trouble lifting the sub, but we're not getting a response. Copy. No response.
I'll go get it.
So I'd like you to somebody to roll a 2d8, since Jeff rolled since Jeff rolled originally
got it.
with that. What do you?
I rolled a 4.
Oh, that's good. That's got to be a good result, right? We rolled under whatever we had to roll under.
I rolled higher than 1, which is impossible on 2 dice. So,
Okay.
I'm double the minimum result.
Perfect is all I can say. It's just perfect.
So when the ballast explodes, we know why.
Okay, so the captain suggests to you that he's probably sleeping again. Kind of just swears under his breath a few short, very explicit, savory words, and he kind of like points back to the sleeping quarters for you to go see if you can wake him, since you volunteered.
I was already leaving, like, before he ever pointed. The moment I said I'll go get him, I left, pretty much.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
because I am not as bothered by him sleeping as other people. So,
That's fair. That's fair. So getting to the sleeping quarters, you know the sleeping quarters, just to kind of flesh out what it looks like, is that it's kind of like you would expect an underwater sub. There are three sets of double bunks. You know, and there's actually, I should say, there's three, and you know how it is on a submarine where there's like a bunk and then a bunk, and they're kind of carved into it, so they're kind of claustrophobic for those people that don't like enclosed spaces and everything like that. But they, you know, each at the foot of each of them, they do have a storage locker, you know, labeled with the respective owners' names and everything like that. Um,
And mine has like a crate at the bottom for my dog
okay,
that I put him in there when he can't be out and running around.
okay. Um, where does your dog? So like, when you say he can't be out and running around, does he pretty much have free access for the
I
sleeping
usually
quarters,
leave
galleys,
him.
and
Yeah, I usually leave him in free access, but he goes in there to like sleep and stuff.
okay,
And if I feel like something is dangerous or there's too much, it's not turbulence in water, but you know what I mean, like
you can
turbulence
still get
where things are like falling or whatever, Mike falling or whatever. I'll put him in the crate, but normally he has pretty free reign, and no one seems
okay.
to mind. So
All right. Um,
he's not a big dog. He's like a small, medium, like collie type mongrel dog.
okay.
Or
Well, okay. So basically, you get into the sleeping quarters, um, and you see, you know, kind of on the double bunk, and you see Mahone's bunk. You see him over on his bunk, um, sleep like usual.
yeah, I go like shake his bunk.
Okay. Um, so he kind of wakes up with like a start, like he kind of like
Well, good. That was my intention. This is to kind of scare shit out of
like
him.
you know he kind of awakes. But when he looks at you, you don't see, like, normally he has just kind of like, you know, those people that just have tired face. You know, the kind of the perpetual bags under their eyes. No matter what, they always look like they haven't gotten enough sleep. His eyes are wide open and wild, and you're not sure if he's just mad at you for waking you up so suddenly or what. But he kind of almost feel like he starts yelling, almost in a mania, not at you, but just in general.
Uh, hey, whatever dream you were having, I don't care. There's a problem with the sub. You need to go check stuff. We're not rising like we're supposed to.
Okay. He doesn't respond,
I
and in
slap him.
fact, as you go to slap him, he goes to
Aggressive. There's the
lunge
Marine.
at you. What
Okay.
do you do? So this would be a combat. Um, what do you do?
Throw him on the floor.
Okay. So in this case, and so just to kind of pause for everybody else and everything like that, there is a, like, in Mothership, which when you're looking at the player's guide, there is basically a section that talks about how to do violence and everything like that. Now, during the violence and everything like that, time is split into roughly 10-second intervals, kind of similar to D&D and everything like that. However, everything within the round happens basically at the same time. And so it's my responsibility to describe what would happen if there's no response, and then of course get players' actions and everything like that. Um, you know, you ask questions if you need to, and I'll provide answers so that you can make what you feel is the best decision for your character, and kind of like you kind of understand the stakes that are involved and everything like that. So,
So basically, I reach up to whack him, and he
and
dives out of the bunk at me because he's on. Is he on the
yeah,
top or where is
yeah,
he?
he's on the top bunk.
Okay. Well, I do my best. I don't drop him. I do my best to kind of restrain him and put him on the ground, and like just yeah, try and restrain him and figure out what's going on.
Okay. And so basically, in that case, we'll have you roll a combat check. If you fail the combat check, he wriggles free and tries to wrestle you to the ground.
You want me to just roll the D100 in here?
Yeah, if you could. And then, of course.
58, and my combat plus military training is 60.
Oh, okay. So, so using your military expertise, how would you wrestle kind of a wild person to the ground?
Well, I mean, I kind of caught him and like
Are you
threw him
gonna?
at the ground, but like judo throws set him on the ground, and like basically land on him and hold him there.
Okay. He screams like, uh, he kind of screams like in a mania, like, it hurts, it hurts.
So I call the cook. What is his name?
Old Bjorn.
Bjorn. I call Bjorn because he's closest, uh, and tell him that he has to help me hold him down because we have a bunch of problems going on all at once.
Okay. Bjorn comes in, kind of not knowing anything more, just kind of, he kind of comes and puts his hands on him. And Bjorn's a pretty big guy, like he holds him down. But you can tell that even under your weight and Bjorn's weight, he's still, Mahone is still trying to escape.
Yeah, I let him thrash, but I want to be able to get on the radio so I can tell the captain and anyone else listening that the guy that's solely responsible for the mechanics of the submarine is whacked out of his mind for some reason.
Okay. The captain,
Those are the technical terms I use to describe the situation.
the captain
Very
acknowledges
technical.
and basically suggests you, Jeff, go over back as well.
It's like, do you have some sort of sedatives that we can give him? I make the joke. I'm sure the captain rolls his eyes, and I try and head into the bunk room through the galley.
I mean, that might be a real option that we have to pursue.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want, you can. There is
Are these
a.
guys holding him down when I get in there?
Yeah, you see that. They're both kind of
Yeah, we're
struggling
both
to hold
holding.
him,
Yeah,
and
And
he seems
I'll
to.
pull my little flashlight out of my lab coat pocket and check his pupil response.
Okay. So as you kind of like are holding him down, you see that his as you kind of like flash in front, his eyes are incredibly bloodshot. It's you haven't since you're not like well, I mean, you would have some experience. So not being
he's
not
just
as a
also
trauma medical doctor, you're not seeing like everything, but this is more bloodshot than any examples that you've seen. His basically his corneas are almost red, and you can see that the veins. It looks like maybe some of the veins have exploded. He's not really speaking so much anymore. Like he used to say, and Brent, for you, he used to say that it hurts. But now he says along the lines of, now he's kind of saying gibberish, like, and he's just kind of thrashing about. He's actually broken a couple teeth, trying to fight the restraints, kind of smashing his head into the ground. And Jeff, you do know that there are sedatives in the first aid kit. There's a limited amount, so if you wanted to, you could.
psychologicalize him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the sedatives in the first aid kit
Okay.
because my belief is that he hasn't slept in days. I don't know what he's doing when he's in bed, but this man doesn't look like he slept at all. It looks like he's going crazy from lack of sleep.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he was asleep when I came in, but
All right. So you open up the first aid kit and take out the small little vial of sedatives that you have. Do you give him like as full a dose? Do you measure? Do you just like jam
Probably
in?
like a half dose just to try to get him to calm down.
Okay. So
Because you can
kind
always
of
give more. It's hard to take some back.
what
it's
was
true.
so we'll wait to see if he calms down, then I'll ask my question.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a
Okay.
half dose. I'm gonna tell him to hold his arm.
Okay. Sure. So in this case, it's a little bit tricky to give it to him because you have both people there, you're eventually able to stab it in and give him a shot. The half dose does sedate him a lot. but it's not like, obviously you didn't knock him out. Now you
Right.
can just see that he's like kind of groggily looking around, and pretty much trying to like get his bearings, even though he really doesn't seem to have, like, he can't focus on anything from what you can tell.
So we'll probably roll him over, and I'll zip tie his hands, because as a
Okay.
security officer, I probably have some sort of restraints.
And you can tell that, as you zip tie and like restrain his hands and everything like that, he does still seem to be fighting something, like he's still trying to resist and everything, but it's unclear exactly like what he's doing, because he's just kind of acting irrationally at this point.
What was he doing before? And I asked this just out loud. What was he doing before he got off shift? Does anybody know?
Looking at there is a duty roster if you want to go check it.
Well,
Basically,
right
duty
now,
log.
I think we need to take him and sit him in a chair, but then I'll go check the dirty roster. I'm more asking so I don't have to look. So I just kind of ask out loud to everybody.
Well, old Bjorn basically said that the last he was in, is he was in electrical, making sure that all the ship's components were operating smoothly, and as he is off to say, all clear.
So yeah, let's take him out into the galley and put him in a chair if we can. We try and walk him out into the galley and put him in a chair,
Okay. All right.
and then
So
I'll zip tie his feet together too, so he can't get up and run around too much.
Okay. So after you sit him up and everything like that, it does look as though, he's still very groggy, but his face is turning a little pinkish, and you can see that he, like, even though he's breathing really heavily, it seems like he's struggling with his breath.
I tell you guys to watch him so I can go tell the captain what's going on.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sure Bjorn's got his cleaver.
Well, and you can. I mean, he's trussed up pretty good. If you need to, you can give him more drugs. I
Yeah.
assume.
Well, I'm a little afraid at this point because he is having some troubles breathing.
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know that.
Yeah.
So I go talk to the captain, and I go in person because I want to stress how this
Serious
might
this is.
be a big deal if he can't, like, if we're still having problems with going, ascending, and he's not coherent, we might have some big problems.
Okay. Yeah. For the time being, the captain has basically stopped the sub, kind of, so you're not moving forward to whatever undersea obstacles would cause a collision. But knowing that, Jeff, your limitations in medicine, because you don't have the medicine skill, right? I don't think you do.
No,
And let's see.
no, I've got zoology, linguistics, psychology. It's more brain doctory stuff. I'm studying pathology, but I don't think that's going to help him.
That's fair. So he suggests that you go and get. He suggests that you go to the lab and get Dr. Kapowski to see if he has anything that he can help with the situation.
All right, I will go get doctor. Leave me alone.
Okay. So while he's
I'm
gone,
hustling. I'm trying, not maybe running, but definitely not strolling.
okay. So, as you get to the lab, the door, which had been, because anytime that no one's in the lab, the door is locked. And in Dr. Kapowski's case, when you're in the lab, he's in the lab, kind of thing. As long as
Right.
you're doing your research, and he's in the lab a lot. Always looking up stuff, always doing his readouts, looking at information that he pulls from the minimal number of systems that he has on here. But the door is actually open.
And I didn't pass him.
You did not pass him.
I stick my head in and I call out, Dr. Kaponsky? Doctor, where are you at? We have an emergency. And I start
Um,
walking into the lab.
so opening up the door to the lab, you actually don't see Dr. Kapowski at all. You see that the lab is, in its same state. You see that obviously it's got his charts and everything like that. It does look as though he was in the middle of work. Like this is not his normal, like not in the room state. Like he usually puts away his charts and his graphs, and he has
Yeah.
everything. Everything has a place in this mind. If anything, he's a very meticulous individual. Kind of looking around the room, though, you do see one of the glass holding cases in the corner uh, is partially shattered, and basically the components are spread along the floor, and it's wet.
Do I remember what was in there?
From your memory, no, but obviously you could examine.
I'm going to examine the case.
Okay.
See if it was a living specimen,
Yeah, it is. It was a living specimen case,
Okay.
and you can actually see that it kind of shows the specimen ID number and everything like that. Something you could easily reference in his specimen log.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up to see what the specimen was.
Okay. So you look at the specimen, and he has a kind of like a very elegant Latin name for it that he has probably assigned himself, because based on your knowledge of all things foreign and all that kind of stuff, this doesn't kind of seems like it has his signature and everything like that. But he has nicknamed it the Ulick. So the last entry is actually from just a little bit earlier today. Looks like it was a period of time, like kind of when he had asked you to leave. And you see that his last entry, it says, specimen appears to have breached its container. Cannot risk telling a security team for potential risk of neutralization. Will attempt to manually recover subject.
No, that's not good. So I'm gonna. Is there any like? Is the lab a big open room, or are there sections, or does he have an office that with a door that closes or anything? Or
It doesn't. It's a working lab, so there's
is it
no
okay?
separated office or anything like
Okay.
that. Mostly, the lab itself serves its purpose, and so like he has a workstation
Mm.
that he obviously does a lot of his note taking and everything like that. But it's not like a separate closed off room.
And the sub has some sort of a intercom system, I'm assuming.
Hmm.
I go to the intercom and hit the. Uh, is it room to room, or is it everywhere all at once?
Well, you can do kind of a broad. You can
I'm gonna try to
broadcast
get
on
the
the intercam,
captain. Yeah,
or
I'm
you
gonna
can,
try to
yeah,
get the captain.
you can hit navigation if you'd like.
Yeah, I hit navigation and I say, Captain, Dr. Kaponsky isn't in the lab, and it appears that we have a containment breach on one of the samples that the doctor was trying to return manually. I don't know what it was because he asked me to leave. It was one of his special specimens. Um, but Kaponsky is not in the lab, and we've got some sort of a creature loose on the sub.
Probably just coincidence.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing happens in a horror game that isn't just coincidence.
Probably just coincidence.
Where's the wall of chainsaws so I can hide behind it?
It's in the
Okay.
armory.
The
Good.
wall of chainsaws is in the armory.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, because it'd be ridiculous to get into the running car.
Okay.
And why are there chainsaws on a submarine? But we don't really talk about
Yeah.
that very much.
No,
That's fair.
for-
That's fair.
For eliminating all those trees we come across underwater. Yeah. So what's going on with our hogtied guy?
Because he's sedated, you can tell that whatever he's doing is much. It's definitely a lot more subdued by comparison to what it would have been if he would have just been.
But is he still turning
Unsedated.
purple or something?
He's turning red from exertion. Like he's
Okay.
trying to like get out of restraints, and he's pretty much pressing his chest up and trying to get his head higher and higher. But obviously being restrained, he can only do it so much, and so he's struggling to move his head back and forth, and it's not really clear why.
But he doesn't seem to be choking anymore.
Well, he's turning purple still, yeah. Like he's still red from exertion, but it's not like he's stopping. Like he's.
But you described it earlier like he was choking, like he was turning purple because he was choking. Is it exertion or is he choking?
Exertion in this case.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not.
sorry.
I'm.
My
I'm
mistake.
no, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I'm clear because if he's choking, I would be worried more. If he's just working real hard, I don't really care about that.
But you know how you see that, like, there's that meme that you see where the kid is like staring at the computer and he's all purple and his like
Right.
veins are popping.
Yeah,
like
when he's holding his breath.
Similar,
Yeah, I got it.
that's similar to what it is. Like he's holding his breath until he like can't, and then he kind of brings it back, and then he's like forcing and fighting and all that kind of stuff, and you're not sure why he continues to go through this cycle.
Yeah, but he's tied to a chair, and Bjorn has a cleaver, so I'm not that worried. So yeah, I guess we hang out until somebody comes and tells me there's a breach because I didn't hear because you didn't broadcast that to everybody. You just broadcast.
No, I just
that
told
to
the
captain.
captain.
Right?
I'm assuming that since you're the security officer, if he's worried, he can yell through the open door between navigation and the galley.
Okay.
In a short hallway, if that's what it actually is, or just a bulkhead.
All right. So so who rolled last? Brent, you rolled 2d8.
Yeah, Brent.
I did last, so it's Jeff's turn to
Why don't you
make
roll
things go poorly.
Why don't you roll a d8 for me, Jeff?
Just
well,
one?
how about you roll a d7? Can you do
what?
that in this?
Just roll a d8.
Just roll a d8.
Just roll a d8 and pluck something off that table that's interesting.
5.
Okay. Sounds good. So what are you doing, Jeff?
I am leaving the lab and heading towards the engine room to see if Kaponsky's there. Kind of retrace. The sub is only so big, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's big, but I'm not searching absolutely everywhere, but I'm calling out for Kaponsky.
Okay. So since
doctor, we have an emergency. Doctor, are you here? Kaponsky, please respond. That kind of shit.
Sure. So since you've been in the lab, it seems as though the engines themselves, they've turned quiet because obviously it's what I should say is that the engines are basically used to keep the sub in its current position. They're not there to keep it higher or lower. And you notice that it is starting to like grunt and sputter a little bit. Because it feels like the engines are working harder than you've ever heard them have to work, doing what it's currently doing. You can start to see that some of the electronics seem to be malfunctioning under the extra weight, and there's a bit of smoke and smog that's kind of starting to fill the upper part of the chamber.
In the engine room?
Mm-hmm. In the engine room. So it is working harder than it's had to work ever before.
Then I get on the intercom and call to the captain and tell him that it appears that we're having some engine failure and might possibly have a fire in the engine room. I need some help right away.
Okay. So he yells back at you, Brent, because you're more mechanically inclined than old Bjorn is.
Yeah, I'll go look. But
Okay.
yeah, when I see that, okay, so yeah, I run down there.
Okay.
What do I see?
Running down there. Well, what you see is you get to the electrical corridor, and this is probably the least favorite room for many of the people in the ship. But the claustrophobic corridor of wires.
You mean the main way we get from the aft of the ship to the front of the ship is our least favorite? Cool.
Yeah. Because it is a claustrophobic corridor of wires, buttons, electronics.
And the last place that Ivan was.
And the last place that Ivan was, um, that you can see that something's not right here. You see a lot more water on the ground than you should see.
I love the fact that no one's mentioned that there's a specimens loose to anybody that was in the back of the ship, by the way. I love it.
I told the captain, man. I know your character doesn't know, but I told the captain.
I'm gonna fucking shoot the captain too.
So
So there's a lot of water.
yeah, and it's rapidly rising too. So
In the electrical corridor?
If there's an alarm button, I would press it.
In the electrical corridor? Then yeah, I'm not gonna go through. I'm gonna go back and say I can't get to the engines. Because I'm not gonna get electrocuted. So yeah, I hit the alarm button.
I know I'm a Marine, but I'm definitely not.
Oh, there's water there. I can't fight electricity.
Needless to say, right now the water isn't high enough that you would expect that it would be in any of the electrical components yet. Just an FYI. And hitting that alarm, all of a sudden the klaxons and everything like that are.
And I'll get on the radio and tell the captain that he should probably just
Blow the ballast.
use the ballast and and just have us go up. Like fill the ballast with air as an emergency protocol and have us go up if there's an engine fire and the ship is filling with water.
You can hear him like grunt into the microphone, and he's like, "That's the problem. What's the status on Mahone? I hear him grunting back there, but we need somebody to fix this ballast issue."
Mahone is way too messed up. He's not acting like a normal person. Like, I don't know what happened to him, but he's not acting okay. He's just basically acting like if we untether him, he's going to attack us, which is what he did to me.
Well, then you're going to have to get into electrical and see if there's anything wrong with the sensors with the ballast or what's causing us to stay level here. You're right. The engines are under a lot of stress, so get in there.
Well, that's not an engine function. The ballasts aren't an engine function, or shouldn't be on most submarines.
No, he's saying getting to the electrical room and see if there's any sensors or any of the electronics that are out.
Like I'm going to know. Sure, I'll go look.
Look for the box that says, "This is the control panel."
Yeah, I'm not going to know what the fuck is going on.
Brent, just pretend it's a World War II sub, so anything that's in the red. Look for anything with the needles in the red.
Yep, the dial's bad.
Okay.
Should I hit it with a wrench? What do you want me to do?
Yes, I'd like you to hit it with a wrench, because in this game you still have to assume some level of expertise. Like even though you don't have the skill, you can still make skill checks and everything like that. So
sure, with my 27 intelligence, yeah, yeah, I'll go in and
okay.
I'll go in there. It's a 3/4 chance that I'm gonna fail.
It's a relative chance that you're going to succeed.
No, that's not relative. It's not even a 50-50. Anyway, so yeah, I'll go in and I'll check the electrical.
Okay.
Feeling really dumb.
I'm a scientist. My intellect's a 44, and that was with a stat boost. So
I'm saying a lot of inappropriate words. Yeah, but you have the science. But you have science skills that add to that. So I'm cursing a lot under my breath as I go into the electrical tunnel.
Okay. Can you roll for me a fear save just to
Sure.
make sure?
What is that again? Same thing? 2d10?
It's a D100 under the save.
Oh yeah, D100. Yeah.
And is it a roll under?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which my fear's 40. My fear's 43, so that is closer to it.
My fear's 26. If I
That
gotta
is-
roll a fear save, it ain't happening.
But I didn't roll under a 43, so
I think the cumulative stress is adding up. That's what I'm taking out of this.
Yeah. So I probably should have given you a
Do I take
stress.
Do I take a stress for that?
Yeah, so in this case, when you roll a fear save and you fail it, you gain 1 stress. I probably should have given you a stress for dealing with the the wackadoo upstairs. But since you're a Marine, I think that's
I
okay.
succeeded that though.
In combat. Yeah, you did. Yep. So you gain 1 stress.
Okay.
Dun dun dun. Stress is always the hard part about this, I guess I should say, because stress.
No,
is
that makes sense.
stress is what builds up over time and causes your characters to go crazy. So, so you do you really feel like you're kind of a culmination of your inadequacy, the room filling up with water at a slow pace. You think you see some unnatural ripples in the water too. You're not sure if that's something for some air being ejected or maybe
Good
some
thing you got the
electricity.
shotgun.
I don't. It's in my bunk because I don't know anything's out yet. Which is why one of these shells is for the captain now.
That's funny. Okay, so in this case, so climbing into the water.
How deep is the water? Climbing in. How deep is the water now? Climbing into the water.
Yeah,
It's
a
basically
second ago
like-
it wasn't that deep.
Now
Let's say
it's
it's
climbing
just
into the
shin.
water as if you're like waist deep in the water. To which again, I'm just gonna leave and be like, "No, you go in there."
Let's say that it's about shin height right now.
And it's not touching any of the electrical. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, none of the important electrical. Let's just say.
On a submarine, it's all important.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You can try to climb.
I don't even know what I'm looking for, frankly. Yeah, it looks like there's lots of machine. I should just look and go, yeah, it all looks fine. Because I don't know what I'm looking at, Captain. You should come down here your goddamn self. That's what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I say into the intercom.
I support that.
So Jeff, you hear like very angrily from the electrical corridor what Brent just said. You can come down and fucking
You
fix
to
it
your
yourself.
goddamn self.
I will poke my head into the other end of the electrical corridor and see what's going on. In case Kapinski's there.
Yeah, so you don't see the doctor in there, but you do see an angry Marine. Would you be on the opposite end of the?
Yeah, we're probably looking at each other. My hand's on the intercom switch after
just
my
like you're leaning around.
my tirade that I just went on, telling the captain to come fix it his goddamn self.
And so you, Jeff, seem to have the impression that there's something that in the electrical needs to be sorted. You see an angry Marine who's about to storm out of there.
And my hand goes off the button, and I say, "Where's the other doctor?"
I can't find him, and there's been a specimen breach.
Now I give you a dirty look, and now I go get the shotgun. I do leave.
I'm gonna look since I wasn't really making a lot of progress in the engine room solving anything. Is there anything that, as I'm looking down the electrical hallway, that appears out of place?
Other than the water.
Other than other than, I mean, does anything look like somebody smashed something, or are there lights flashing, or anything that would indicate that there's a problem? Wires pulled out of anything obvious on first glance? Is what I'm thinking.
There's nothing that is there's nothing that's been smashed or ripped out or anything like that. So you still see, you haven't really taken inventory of the electrical hallway, I would say. You just kind of something you pass by frequently as you go from the front to the back of the ship. You do, as you scan, you see Ivan's lunchbox down here. It looks like he left it down there for some reason. You're not sure why. You do see that there are some kind of nodes that seem to be, having warning signs. They kind of be flashing a red or orangish color, depending on the node. And you see basically the angry exit of your teammate.
Sure.
But nothing that seems.
Did Ivan
like
leave any tools, or just his lunchbox?
You can find tools down here. You find various spanners, screwdrivers, different couplings and stuff like that. Ivan doesn't run a very clean shop, let's say. So you can find it. It just happens to be kind of everywhere.
I guess I'm gonna walk towards the first flashing light, see if what system it is.
Okay. As you walk closer, kind of like you kind of splash into the water, um, and you see kind of out of the corner of your eye, kind of a flick in the water.
Well, it startles me. I look at the water. Do I see anything? All right, I'm trying to look at the warning light. What system is it?
The warning light basically says that there seems to be ballast control, and it pretty much is the error is saying is that the ballast settings are uncalibrated. Um,
Is
Ballast
there a light
tank
that says
is
"fucked" on it? Is there a light? That should be a light on the submarine.
it's just
Submarine.
has a piece of tape that says if this light is flashing, you're fucked.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I mean
I see the problem. The fucked light's on.
Do I see a button that says reset or on off? Anything where I can turn it off and turn it back on again?
um, so
Whatever the
the
ballast control thing is.
so there is a button that you can say that is basically it's like a calibration thing. However, when you press it, it doesn't seem to do anything. And to the side,
Damn
you see
it! The unfucked button isn't working.
you see that there's a manual that you could read through, that kind of explains the workings as to how this ballast system works.
Is it a big manual? Big enough to
Yeah,
beat the captain
yeah.
to death?
I'm not going to read the manual. I'm going to walk back towards the engine room, and try to go the connector to the ballast tank to see if there's anything obviously wrong.
So you don't see anything, kind of like at the entrance to the ballast tank. You know, you basically see that everything looks like it's green. There is like kind of a maintenance hatch that's there. You've never looked inside, but there is a way
Is
to
it
get
open
into
or
the
is it
ballast tank.
closed?
It's currently closed, actually.
I will try to open it.
Okay, it opens with ease, well maintained.
All right. What's the level of the ballast? So how much water is in the tank?
Far fuller
Right.
than you would expect. So basically, the gate, like basically what you see is that the first thing is that it's got a kind of a maintenance ladder that's incredibly slippery. And the tank itself, so the kind of the small shaft that forms the maintenance tunnel to get to the ballast tank, you see that the tank is like incredibly full of water, far higher than it should be. Even with your lack of in detail knowledge of submarines, you know that a very full ballast tank is
I
kind
try
of
to
the
shine my
opposite.
flashlight down into the water. Up from where I'm at, I am not getting close to
Yeah.
the water.
So pointing it through there, you see that it's kind of like how a light hits there.
Yeah.
It's kind of dark, murky. You can't really see anything with the dam.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna shut the door to the ballast tank.
Okay.
I'm not jumping in. Um, is there a control panel or anything for the ballast tank around the hatch?
What are you looking for a control panel to do?
Anything on, a manual release, anything at all for the ballast tank?
Kind of like a manual flush, like an emergency rise.
Yeah,
kind of
like if
thing?
you had to turn a screw, to open a door, a mechanical door
Yeah.
or some sort of,
That would be outside the ballast tank, because you couldn't have the access hatch open.
That's what you said. You closed it back up, Jeff.
Yeah, I
right?
closed it back
Oh,
up.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you do see what would be like an emergency purge. To try to get your ballast tank full of air, kind of thing.
I intercom the captain and tell him that the ballast tank appears to be fuller than it should be. The warning systems in the electrical hallway are saying that the ballast tank is not operating properly. Should I do a manual purge?
He he suggests that, he's like, well, we have to find out more as to why the ballast tank is full. Because if you try to purge it and there's a giant hole in the ballast tank, then we're not going to be able to purge it again. We got to figure out what's going on there. We haven't hit anything that I'm aware of, so and I don't see anything on the sensors which shows anything should be latched onto the ship. But come back up here and we'll meet.
All right, I
and
tell
see
him
if
I
we're-
still haven't found Kapinski, and the engines are laboring, and we do still have that sample breach, and it may be in the electrical hallway because I thought I saw something in the water.
Okay, well, be careful. That's like
All right, I'm going to, as best I can, hustle through the electrical hallway
Okay.
to try to get to the armory.
Um,
Not recklessly, but as fast
Well,
as I feel comfortable.
We can't get into the armory without the captain's key.
the weapons locker.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
talking
the
about
actual. You can
weapons,
get into
yeah.
the armory. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought the whole armory was locked off.
yeah. I was just looking at the map. I'm assuming that as I go from the engine room through the electrical hallway.
Well, I'm probably waiting. Like, I wasn't gonna just leave you there.
Okay.
I went back to I went back. I told Bjorn to watch him. There's a sample breach, so you might want to have your cleaver or weapon out. I went into the bunk. I put my dog on the highest bunk I can fit the carrier on, the like crate on, or like the middle bunk probably, or the top bunk if
Sure.
I can, just so when we start to flood and drown, he'll at least survive longer than the rest of us. And then I get my shotgun from my weapon, my locker, my foot locker, and I meet him at the end of the electrical tunnel.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to deal with the captain on the way down.
The captain's at the front of the ship. I'd have to go through the electrical corridor, which I'm not ready to do yet. I was actually getting the shotgun to make sure he was okay while he was checking the thing.
Because remember, the electrical, you have to go electrical, armory, navigation, galley, sleeping quarters. There's no way to go from the lab to the sleeping quarters.
No, right. You have to go lab, engine room. Oh, he's in navigation. Or no,
Yeah,
where's
the
no?
captain's,
He was.
the captain's in navigation.
I thought the captain was in the lab with you last. The last he.
Nope.
No.
He's in navigation, making sure the ship doesn't sink.
No, I ignore the captain.
Okay, so the containment breach.
Oh no, I don't. I don't ignore the captain. I tell him to give me the armory key.
Okay. He gives it to you. He doesn't like any hassle or anything like that. Hands it over to you, and like
Then I leave my shotgun. I leave my shotgun with Bjorn. Then, so if I ask him if he can shoot it, do you know how to shoot one of these?
he says, how hard could it be?
Yeah, just point the open end at whatever you want to be dead. Not me, preferably. And so I leave him with my shotgun, and I go to the armory to get a pistol. And then I'll meet you at the end of the end of the electrical. Is there anything in the anything in the armory?
Oh, like as in, yeah, there's the normal stuff there.
Okay, is
as
Dr.
you-
Kapinski in the armory? Is what I'm asking.
There's a psychotic.
Oh no,
Dr.
no.
Kapinski with
I
a
thought you said, "Is
facehugger.
there something in the armory?" I was like, "Yeah, the normal stuff."
Yeah, something
Dr.
being the doctor.
Yeah, no, it's someone.
Okay.
Nope. So as you get to the armory, your goal is to unlock the.
Right, to get a handgun is the goal.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So as you go up to the locker, basically it's pretty much just a padlock. As futuristic as this is, boop, pop it open, and as you open it, you see inside two handguns, some bullets, some grenades, and what looks to be I don't know centimeters very well. Let's just say a nearly 2 foot long eel thing. It's got slug-like skin, little tiny fins, a circular mouth that is razor sharp, and it seems to be eating something. Can you roll for me a
In the weapons
D10?
locker? Weird.
Cozy.
Roll a 7.
Okay. It's munching on, it's literally chewing at the metal on one of the guns. And upon like seeing you, it kind of turns and turns that circular mouth open, and you see kind of the slimy interior as it looks like it's going to lunge at you.
Okay. Well, I'll get out of the way.
So basically just gonna to back up there.
No, I'm gonna try to move to the side so it lunges past me, and I can grab the gun that wasn't chewed on.
Okay. So this is going to be a speed check.
Speed plus my military training.
That's fair. I think, even though you seem to be more of a specialist in firearms, most militaries train people in basic hand-to-hand.
Yeah, I failed.
Okay. So maybe it was just the surprise. Maybe it was.
I assume I'm
It's
taking a stress for that.
Yep, you'll need to take a stress for that. And pretty much, the thing lunges at you. What kind of clothing are you wearing right now? You're just wearing like coveralls kind of thing, or are you wearing
My
something
fatigues.
Okay. It pretty much just goes straight for your gut, clamps on, and it's slippery eel-like or slug-like skin. It just kind of burrows into your gut, head first. It is incredibly painful. Can I have you roll 2d6 for me?
Ouch.
10. Okay. So that
So
is
8 points of damage.
Yep, that is correct. That is correct. And because of how armor points work, if my memory serves, it means your fatigue's armor isn't effective against additional attacks until it's repaired, because it doesn't have damage reduction. Damage reduction is the good stuff.
Well, there's. So do I take 8 points of damage or not?
You take whatever your AP is, minus the damage dealt.
So 10 was the damage, so minus 2 for the armor points for the fatigues.
Correct.
Correct. And the next time I get attacked, I can't use that though.
Correct. So you won't have any armor points. Yeah.
So I have 0 armor points right now. Gotcha.
Correct. Okay. And it got in quick. So, Jeff, let's cut away from Brent for a moment. What are you doing right now?
Trying to get back to the bridge because that's what the captain said. So
Okay.
I'm going through the electrical hallway towards the armory.
All right. So as you kind of like get through electrical and everything like that, you come down because Brent was obviously trying to come meet you. It's not a super big ship, but you pretty much see.
I mean, he could
Brent-
hear me. He has to go through the armory, so he could hear me wrestling with the.
Yeah, like you see him open up the
Gross
locker,
fish.
and you can't see anything because you kind of see his back to the locker, but you see him scream in pain, grab his gut, and blood starts soaking into his fatigues. I'd like you to roll a.
How big did you say the thing was? You said it was like a foot long.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's long and
would-
narrow.
Unless it's all the way inside me, he would be able to see it.
The tail basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's trying to worm its way in.
You want me to roll something?
Fear check, please.
That's a D100.
Yep.
$53.
Okay. Take a stress. You're not panicked, but this is definitely not your favorite thing to see. The tail-like thing that seems to be flipping out of out of his belly as he's trying. I guess, Brent, are you trying to grab a hold of it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. That
No,
doesn't-
I'm
that's
just
not
gonna
a-
let it crawl into my guts.
Just
I'm just
okay,
gonna give
buddy.
up, lay down.
Okay, fair enough.
You could grab a grenade and stick it in the hole.
There you go. That was my aliens character, not this character.
You see, like you're afraid of the situation. You don't actually remember seeing that specimen in Dr. Kapowski's lab, so you're not familiar with it at all.
No, I'm like, what the hell was that? I'm gonna try to help him try to grab the tail, like you know.
Okay. It's slippery, so in this case, why don't you? So, are you gonna? Do you want to try to assist Brent with trying to pull on it, or do you want to assist, or do you want to try to pull on it yourself, kind of independent of Brent, or how do you want to do it?
What does assistance do?
Yeah,
You could roll with advantage, possibly.
I could roll with advantage.
yeah. I'm gonna tell him to help me pull it out.
So he's assisting me trying to get it out, throw it
Yeah.
off of me.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, he could try to pull it himself.
So do you want me to roll now?
Yep, you could roll with advantage if you'd like. And advantage in this game works like anything else to take the best. Ooh.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. You seem to be able to pull it out. And right now it's just flailing about. What do you guys do in this split second that you have with this creature?
I mean, I try and throw it as far away from me as possible.
Okay.
I was
In
gonna
which
say
direction?
try to smash it, but I'm not the one in control of it.
I mean, it's wriggly, and we don't have anything really to. I'm not going to try to pin it on the floor. I'm going to try to throw it as far from me as I can, and then get the gun.
Okay. Yeah, so you throw it, I assume, kind of behind you, which would, in this case, take you towards the... I guess it takes you more towards navigation. It obviously is wriggling, trying to right itself. You're not sure.
Wasn't
which side's
navigation up?
Yeah, but like...
So I would
guess
probably throw it either more towards the electrical or the back of the armory,
yeah,
depending on how far it is.
you throw it back. It's trying to wriggle. It's trying to right itself. Roll for me a strength. Roll for me a strength check, just to see if how hard you're throwing this thing.
It didn't get very far away from me.
It seems as though it did not get as far away as you had hoped, and because of how it was wriggling in you, it unlike a baseball, which is kind of a center mass, its gravity was kind of all over the place. So you threw it, and it, like a wriggling noodle,
Didn't
just
go far,
landed
sure.
just a few feet away from you, close enough that you feel like you're still in the danger zone.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the gun.
Okay, so in this round of combat, Brent's grabbing the gun. Jeff, what are you doing?
Not getting in the way of the guy, not getting between the guy with the gun and his target.
Okay.
But I will back him up if the thing tries to leap for me or get around him. I will try to stomp on it, I guess. I don't really have anything on me other than a scalpel, which I don't think is going to be super effective.
Perfect. So Brent,
Shank it.
hey, anything works. Why don't you go ahead and roll for me a combat?
Can I give him an attaboy or anything?
Not really.
Oh,
There's no hero
I
points.
tried.
I make it.
Okay. So basically, you shoot it. Bang. So you actually kind of, when you're rolling it, I guess in this case, the bullet kind of rips it in two. You see the head of it, right itself. Now that it has less mass behind it, it's able to right itself a little bit more quickly. And you see it going in towards the electrical, towards the water there. Jeff, do you do anything after
I
it's like
stomp on it if it tries to move past me. I'm going to
okay
try to stomp on it. How's that?
combat? Can you
Yes,
roll a combat for me?
I can. You want combat or do you want quickness?
I'm gonna say this is
Speed. Combat's fine. I'm fine.
well. I mean, which is better for you?
They're only two apart, and neither one is higher than 60. So,
Okay. You
so it
see that
doesn't
it's
really matter. Speed's
you,
two better than combat. It's 36 to 34.
okay. You basically see that it like you go to stomp on it, but it's like bouncing around like a little
Sure.
jumping bean, and it you feel like you can get it, but you just miss because it at the last
You
second.
mean half of it is, or the whole thing is?
The
Like,
half of it is. Okay. Um, all right. So, kind of in your way is Jeff. It used its turn to escape. But now that Jeff is closer, if you do nothing, Jeff, it will try to bite you. Arr, arr, arr.
I do. I will try to stomp it again. I don't know what
Okay.
else to do. I guess I could try to move out of the way and let Brent take another shot. That's what I'll do. That makes more sense after I missed it poorly with the first stomp.
Okay. Brent, what are you doing?
shooting it.
Okay. Nice.
Jesus.
I mean, like kind of now that you're focused, you kind of like sight in, even though it's kind of wiggling around. You see it kind of take a line towards the electrical room. Once Jeff bounces back, and you sight it in, and you basically pop its head off. Bullet obviously ricocheting dangerously down the electrical corridor, but that's okay. We're using gun physics for this. How about that?
Well, I mean, they're probably not bullets that they're probably bullets that don't penetrate. Like they have those bullets that, like, if they hit anything metal or solid, that they just crumble. They would. That's probably what they would have on a submarine. They wouldn't have
Are you kidding?
armor-piercing shells on a submarine.
You add to the problem, Brent.
And with
Times two.
my Barrett 50 caliber armor-piercing
Desert Eagle.
rounds shooting in the submarine.
You got your Desert Eagle out, and you're like, bang bang. Did I get him?
Just a
Nice.
second, I have to set this rifle up.
Okay.
So I
Jeff,
yell at you. I yell at you, Jeff. What the fuck was that?
and Jeff, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that when you failed the test to stomp on him, that is
I get the second stress.
that's
Okay,
a stress,
sure.
please.
That's fine. I don't know. I haven't seen that specimen before, but it may be the one that Kapinski was handling when he sent me out of the room. He liked to handle some of the special specimens himself.
So I hold on. So I'm holding onto my side where I'm bleeding. I tell you, we're gonna have to get a first aid kit. I'm gonna need it, but I want to look at the
Yeah.
other gun too. And it's
Yeah,
been
I'm
eaten.
like, hold pressure on that. That's kind of important.
Yep. So the gun itself, I mean, the guns weren't stored loaded or anything like that, but obviously the gun has been chewed on by this creature in a way that would make the gun not dangerous to fire. Let's just say.
Right, but it eats metal, is what I'm pointing out.
Correct.
So yeah, I hand you the other gun and I say, we might really be fucked here. It looks like those things eat metal, which we're in a giant can.
By the way, I'd like one of you to roll a D8, oh no, a D6 for me.
Is it your turn, Brent, or you want me to do it?
I can roll it.
Okay. I couldn't
D6?
remember.
I think you rolled the last one.
I think I did too.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. So a couple things happen while you guys are discussing this. Now that you guys are, the adrenaline is wore off just a tiny bit, you can hear the captain trying to just scream at you through the bulkhead from the navigation down to the armory, and you also hear You also hear a loud clattering of cookware that kind of resounds through the ship. Your turn.
Now
What
it
do you
sounds like
do?
something's going on with Ivan.
Yeah, okay, we had a
We got to go there anyway to get
Yeah.
the first aid kit, right?
Yep. So we head up there.
Because where I'd like to go is the escape craft.
That's
But
where
so
we
far,
should
my
go.
my Hippocratic oath is holding.
Okay. All right. So basically, so remind where were you going again? I'm sorry, I got distracted at the wrong second there.
We're heading towards Ivan and the first aid kit because that's where we left it when we dosed
Okay.
him.
All right. So you basically get up to navigation, and you can see that obviously the captain is trying to maintain all the various dials and everything like that. But you can tell that with the ballast going, the sub is in a critical condition, and he's trying not to, as you described, overtax the engines and keep you afloat. Let's say.
How many seats are in the escape craft?
How many seats? 2.
Shoot the captain.
Okay. And as you get
I
through,
I actually sort of wonder why the escape craft doesn't fit everyone, all of the crew. And I'm kind of angry about that as well.
the corporate budget cuts.
Kind of angry.
Budget cuts. You know how these corporations work. So you hear the sounds of struggle coming from the galley as soon as you get to the navigation. And are you guys heading to the galley then?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to get the bleeding stopped.
Okay. So basically, what you see,
And I
is
have to pare everybody down to 2 people, one of which is being me.
So you mean to one people?
No, I need another. There's another seat. Oh wait, there's my dog. Never mind.
You can have a dog in your lap. I think you can still fit another person.
Oh my god, that's good. That's good. There's only enough room for the 2 of us. Let's go. I mean, everybody.
Shouldn't have let me bring the dog. There would have been another space for you guys.
I feel like if it said you had a dog, and I was just like, you're gonna have to board the dog for this because
You could have done that. That would have made more sense to me.
I thought it went.
He doesn't. He doesn't. I mean, he doesn't really mean like he's not a like. It's just flavor text. Like you have a dog at home would have been fine.
Yeah. Okay. So you get to the galley, and you basically see that that the galley is kind of a mess. Obviously, that most of the plates and stuff is magnetic. So like it sticks to stuff. The table's bolted down, but you do see like kind of like knocked on the floor is a pot of what was probably supposed to be dinner, like a meat stew. You see that like pots and pans have been knocked down. You see kind of kind of like you see a lot of Bjorn's knives have been knocked from the block and they're kind of strewn about. But you also see Bjorn like fighting with 2 of these creatures. He's got like one in his hand and it's pinned onto his arm, and he's got it like another one just kind of like trying to burrow into his ribs, and he's cutting the one like the trying to cut the head like he's cutting some eel sashimi or something like that, without cutting his own hand off or something. So that's the scene. What are you guys doing?
Is he still tied up in the chair?
Ivan is, but the
I
creatures
know.
are
That's. I just want to make sure where he is first.
Hmm.
I'll try and go help Bjorn pull the eels off.
Okay.
Or no, I tell you to go help him pull the eels off, and I'll shoot them when they're clear of him.
Do I see Ivan's cleaver?
You do. You see his cleaver. Right now, he just seems to have one of his other sharp knives. that
I
he's
grabbed the
trying to peel
cleaver.
it off. Okay.
And I'm gonna
Ivan looks
try
at you.
to grab the eel that's trying to burrow into him by the tail and get enough of a hold to try to chop it in half.
Okay. Um, so, Brent, you're holding your action to kind of wait for an opening kind of thing. Okay. Okay, so Jeff, why don't you go ahead and, I mean, it feels
Roll
like
combat?
a combat check is going to be your best, Jack.
Yeah, all right. I don't know if I still got a hand, but 81.
Well, I would say less you and more Ivan. Basically, what you have a giant cleaver, and I kind of imagine you like trying to grab this thing and like swinging at it, not gently, kind of trying to saw it off, like because obviously Ivan's moving too.
Sure.
So what seems to happen is that you know you kind of are pulling this thing and you go down with your swing and you chop through it, but your angle is wrong. You also chop into Ivan, and so now he has a wriggly bit, a cleaver, and you have the end wriggly bit that seems to be wriggling less and less as after a second.
All right. I guess I tossed the wriggly bit down,
Hmm.
and I guess now I would pull out the cleaver and try to scrape more, see if I could get it off.
Okay, so it's not hard to pull it out of him, but obviously he's starting to bleed from his wound. He basically, you see him cut through one, and it's still its head and everything like that is there, and he basically is kind of like looking at you, and he doesn't have a hand, and so he kind of like in desperation sees you, Brent, not doing anything. He's like, "Get the fuck out! Get it the fuck out!"
Okay, I shoot it. No. Yeah, I'll go pull it out.
Annie Oakley style. Let's go.
No, I'll go help him pull it out since I assume it's dead already.
Okay, so you basically you pull it out, and you see that you kind of in the death of it, you're sure that it's like its teeth, kind of are still wriggling and trying to get to some sort of food source, but it seems as though it kind of slows down and stops. Jeff, what are you doing?
I'm trying to. I'm assuming that the one that I chopped in half is also dying. I'm trying to get it off of his like side or whatever.
Okay, roll a speed check for me.
Let's try a speed check. Let's go. 27.
Oh.
That is below my speed.
Okay. Basically, you somehow, you're not sure how, you find a way to kind of get a good grip on this slimy, slug-like skin, and you think it might not have been in super deep. You guys must have been able to get there quick enough, and you just give it a yank, and you actually manage to pull it out. It is still very active, still very angry, let's say, unlike the one that was pulled off of the hand from Brent.
Is the pot anywhere near? Can I throw it in the pot or anything? Or do I
Yeah, the pot is on the ground. It's not. I mean, it's not upright, but you could grab it and ding.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to throw it in the pot.
Okay.
Upright the pot and throw it in the pot.
All right, bing! It makes a loud kind of crashing sound. You see that there's the lid. It's not too far away if you want to slam that on it as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to slam on the lid too.
Okay. Ivan looks pretty bad. Like, obviously he looks a little ashen from having a hole, a gash, and a pretty sizable.
You mean
chunk of
Bjorn?
Or sorry,
Bjorn.
Bjorn. My apologies. Bjorn is, and then Ivan is actually like
Do
head
things
mauled
explode
over,
out of Ivan? I mean, do we see exit wounds? Okay, I'm gonna try. Assuming that the pot thing happened, I'm gonna try to get the med kit because I've got 2 injured people. To try to
Okay. Yeah. So you can go get the med kit.
Okay.
I'm gonna go check Ivan and see if he's still alive.
Okay. Checking on Ivan, you actually see that he has stopped breathing, but his body seems to be kind of wiggling a little bit, just slightly tremor.
Like there's creatures swimming around inside his body. Not to put words in Brent's mouth.
I just back up. I don't say anything really. I do ask Bjorn where those came from.
And he points actually at the actually by the stove. He says they came from over there. They just jumped out from behind the soup. Caught me by surprise. And he like looks at the cleaver wound and he's like, "What the? Why did he hit me with the knife?" And he says his trademark line is, "I fucking hate the sea and seafood." Okay, so Jeff, you get the med kit. What is your treatment option here? What are you trying to do?
I'm going to try to stitch them up. I asked Bjorn if he's got any alcohol so that we can sterilize the wounds.
Is there a place where Bjorn puts his trash? Like a chute or anything? Like, how do we handle trash on this submarine?
Good point. Trash is compacted and incinerated, so there is kind of like a chute that you can send it down to a place near the engine room.
How big is the chute?
Not terribly large. I mean, Are you trying to put the entire pot in there?
So he can't fit Ivan in it? I mean, he's dead. He's dead. So.
Ooh. I'm not. Yeah, I'm going to say this is a situation. I'm not saying I know exactly how big these chutes are or anything like that. But why don't you roll for me? Oh well. I guess what would you think? What would be the solution that you would think would be most?
I would think a garbage chute would be pretty big, really.
Strength.
Okay. Do you think it would be big enough to fit a body in?
I think so.
Okay. Then let's go ahead.
Because it's probably where we put all of our trash too.
Okay. Then yeah, you can put Ivan in the chute.
You want me to roll something?
No. Don't worry about rolling it.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, basically you're helping Bjorn and I'm dragging Ivan's body over to the chute.
Yeah, and as you drag him, you basically see that his stomach seems to be kind of like wiggling around and
I drag faster.
in a way that human stomachs don't typically wiggle. Let's say.
Gross. Yeah.
I drag faster.
You drag faster, and faster, and faster, and you kind of heave his body up, kind of lift it into the chute, and you kind of see it slide down into the darkness. It's not a lit chute. There's no lighting for it.
No, there wouldn't be.
Okay.
And I clean up whatever other dead fish things. I throw those in there too, like when he's and then when he's done with him, then I'll ask him to treat me with the first aid kit.
Okay. So I think that's a good place to stop for the night. I know it's already late for you guys. Is that okay for us to pause tonight there?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah. That's a good time.
I mean, so you just dumped one dead body. You've been dealing with small little creepy leeches and everything like that. And Jeff has to apologize to Ivan.
No. No one has to apologize to Ivan ever again.
Ivan's dead, yeah.
He has to apologize to Bjorn.
Old Bjorn, yeah.
No one has to apologize to Ivan ever again.
I cut him with his own cleaver, and now I'm pouring his precious alcohol on the submarine onto his wound. I tell him to take a belt that this might hurt as I stitch him up.
Probably will.
And it's wine with not very much alcohol content, so he's basically just to say it is. It hurts, doesn't it? No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so
What
that
do I
wasn't
know?
too bad.
What do I know about doctrine?
It's non-alcoholic beer, Brent.
Yeah.
What do I know about doctrine?
I do. I love your character. He's just like, I don't know that. Fuck you, Captain.
Not my job.
Not my job. So that being said, that was our first half, probably, if not, maybe half, maybe a little. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly where this goes, but I do feel like I get Mothership a little bit more now that I'm running it. Some. Hopefully, it was a good. Do you
It was
think?
good.
Hopefully, it was a
Yeah.
good horror thing so far. I mean,
Yeah, it's good.
I think so. I'm a little.
I'm
freaked
enjoying
out,
it.
So
what's that, Jeff?
I'm a little freaked out. So we got that going for us.
We should have put trigger warnings on the.
On everything, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, because I that's the one thing about Mothership is that you agree to be a good steward and provide safety and all that. So you got to provide safety warnings for everybody that plays, because obviously it deals a lot with body horror and everything like that too. So that's
And any game I
pretty
run,
crazy.
we should just say that up front.
yeah, we're we're just gonna say stuff.
Oh, it's a cute game with ponies in it. Brent's running it. You guys probably should know.
Probably should know. There's a chance that there will be body horror, violence, mature language.
Small chance, but sure. Chance.
I mean, that's not bad though. I mean, whatever. It's just funny to me because I totally thought about it when we were doing this stuff earlier, but I totally forgot about it when we started. Like, I was like, well, this is a game that's, since it's so heavily built on body horror and everything like that, that I should have obviously said.
We definitely should. So we apologize about not warning you sooner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but honestly, hopefully when we watch this in hindsight, we don't find that the running Roll20 destroyed our stream. Nobody complained about it. So
I didn't see anything, and no one said anything. And there were
Yeah,
a few people
good.
watching. Thank you, everybody watching.
yeah, appreciate everybody stopping by and watching us play a game and all that stuff. We do participate with the audience, so if you guys want to suggest anything to Brent and Jeff as we're playing some of these games, don't hesitate to throw it in chat.
Yeah, and we will be back next week, same time.
Yeah, Mondays. We do Mondays, typically 8:30 p.m. Pacific. Good job, Mike. I've talked too much.
And then we'll be posting recorded content again, I think this week. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to talk about the year in review and our thoughts on D&D and gambling. Did I see that right? What?
Did I miss something?
It's that same. It's those figures still, isn't it? Like
I don't know.
we need to do a wrap up for Cthulhu Confidential in reality is what we need to do. So
Well, this is the headline of the thing because I've been watching ICV2. Hasbro signs D&D gambling license.
weird.
Out of context, I don't know what that means. In context, I still don't know what that means.
Yeah, that seems a little odd, but sure.
Yeah. So so basically, we'll see what that means from a gambling perspective. But I feel like if I didn't have D&D's or Hasbro signing gambling license was not on my bingo card, so obviously I'm not an industry pro.
just D&D branded slot machines.
Maybe that would be hilarious to walk into Vegas and be at like medieval time or not medieval times, but the what the hell was that castle called that I was just
Excalibur.
saying? Camelot? Excalibur. I was literally just there. How do I forget?
I know you were. I wasn't gonna say that.
It was like the castle, with the knights,
The
and
castle
things,
with
and
the thing.
swimming pool, and
With
the
the stuff.
underground tournament of thingies, whatever they do down there, where they stab each other with lances.
Exactly.
I'm glad I'm running the game because obviously,
You used all your descriptive words already. Is what you've done.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was a long day. Little guy wore me out, so yeah, he is 100% energy.
Yep.
But with that, if anybody wants to continue the conversation, don't be afraid to talk with us on social media. You can catch up with usually Brent. He's the one who gets on social media and everything like that. So that's the easiest way to talk with us outside of just emailing us, which is
RollRoyceGuys@gmail.com.
What was that again?
Well, if you weren't talking, it's rollwiseguys@gmail.com.
All right. And so I think that's it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks everybody and we'll catch you again another time.